Hey Sammy fam, I decided today I really want some comfort food. So we're gonna make my favorite comfort food, pizza, and then we're gonna eat it all up and just sit and chat, it'll be fun. I got my pizza peel. Gotta get a little flour on it so this doesn't stick. Pizza dough that I bought at the store, frozen, and then have thawed and let rise. Just gonna get a nice little hand stretch on this, see how far we can go. I want a really thin crust pizza today. That's comfort for me. And I want it nice and extra crispy. Whew. Things are going really well for me actually, but so much is changing. It's nice to be in kind of a comfort food mode. And fall time is like perfect comfort food weather. Fall and winter are my favorite like food seasons, I guess. So you can start baking, you can start making soups. My wife's birthday was this week. We made pizzas on her birthday eve, the night before her birthday. And then on her birthday itself, we made homemade wonton soup, wonton stuffed with pork and shrimp and cilantro and all these different beautiful ingredients. Chinese cooking wine, vinegar, onion, garlic. It was so tasty. Sometimes I use a rolling pin just to get it really, really thin and crispy. And that's what I'm going for. What also helps with crisping it up is, a couple of years ago now, my wife got me a sheet of steel that just sits in the oven. When you're not using it, sits on just the base. But you bring it up to either the middle or like the rack above the middle. And you preheat your oven as hot as it'll go, and you just let it sit. You just let it sit at that hottest temperature for at least half an hour. I've had mine sitting there for like a full hour basically, just to superheat this steel so that when you slide the pizza off the pizza peel onto the steel, it's going to start to crisp up immediately. And that it's vastly improved my pizza quality over the past couple of years. It's a game changer. We went from home pizzas to like restaurant pizzas basically overnight because of that one tool. So I really appreciate her getting us that. Okay, I got my pizza nice and stretched out. We're gonna start by adding a sauce. I'm using Carbone Arrabbiata. It's kind of a slightly spicy tomato sauce, really simple. I like really simple sauces for a pizza. Tomato, onion, garlic, pepper, maybe basil. Just a light spread of sauce, basically edge to edge. Got to be really careful on a pizza steel or else you get stickage. I got a little wetness under the edge there. I'm gonna wipe that up. I'm gonna put a pinch of flour in that area. You don't want your pizza to stick to the peel. It's horrible, it's a nightmare. Because I super like garlic, we're gonna add powdered garlic to that. Because I want it to be spicier, crush a pepper flake. And even more garlic, we're gonna add some crushed garlic. And yes, I have washed my hands. Now, one of my favorite ingredients, really thinly sliced red onions. I slice these on a mandolin because there's no way that I have the skill to slice them this accurately by hand. I like a lot of onion. Next, we're gonna do some anchovies. anchovies and olive oil. Use maybe a third or half of the pack. Let's break these up and kind of distribute chunks around the pizza. It adds such a nice like umami flavoring that I find super comforting. And guys, it doesn't taste fishy. Putting anchovies in things, everybody's like, oh, it's gonna taste like seafood, it's gonna taste weird and fishy. It's delicious. It just tastes like umami-y, savory, delicious, amazing. It takes so many dishes to another level. If you're like adding it to tomato sauce, making a paste out of it, and making like a salad dressing, like a Caesar dressing or something. Lots of applications for it. I mean, I just like it on crackers, but I know a lot of people think they're kind of grody, but they're not. They're amazing. And then we'll just drizzle some of this oil. This anchovy oil is amazing. Freshly shredded part skim mozzarella. I have found that the part skim has a slightly better, tangier flavor to me than the whole milk mozzarella. And it melts really well too, so I'm like, might as well get this part skim and, you know, save a few calories versus the whole milk. You don't need too much because it melts and spreads out so much. Next up, artichoke hearts. This is a nice little tangy bite to the pizza. I tend to break them up a little bit, spread them out. Finely shredded sheep's milk Romano. That's just a little more umami. It's a very savory pizza. And last but certainly not least, one of my favorite ingredients, fried garlic. You can make this yourself. I also find that almost every like Asian grocery will have this in their kind of spice area. This stuff is heaven. Okay, now for the scary part, we have to get this in the oven. First, so we have to make sure it's not stuck to the peel. So we give it a tap. And she's sliding. There's no, you gotta look all the way around the edges. There's no area sticking, so we're ready to go. There's one, this area in the back is not sticking, but it's a little wet. Magic finger. Just a little flour. Now this corner is a little... Okay, let's go for it. Oh my God. She just barely fit on the steel. Now for my oven, it's about like 8 to 10 minutes for the crispiness I want. I like it really crispy though. You might like it a little bit less. All right, it's been about 9 minutes or so. We have a super crispy, super hot, amazing looking, amazing smelling garlicky pizza, my favorite. I think it's crispy enough. Let's see here. Oh yeah. I'm gonna cut this party style. Party style just meaning into a grid. I guess some people call that that's also like what, tavern style. I grew up loving Emo's Pizza because I am originally from Missouri, where I was born. And Emo's makes a St. Louis style pizza that comes very thin, unleavened crust. So slightly different from this. They use Provel cheese, which I know a lot of people hate, but I actually love it. And they cut it in squares. And it just reminds me of my childhood, reminds me of college. And it makes me happy inside. So that is an extra level of comfort just from the way it's cut. Almost like, you know, cutting a grilled cheese on the diagonal to make it seem more homey. Every detail matters with food, even if it's not about the flavor or the texture. Like everything in the presentation goes into, you know, your experience as an eater, as a consumer of it. So square cut is actually important for me, for my personal experience. And you know what else is important? We can just go ahead and stack these. Some ranch dressing. I love a little buttermilk ranch for my pizza. What can I say? I'm not fancy. Ooh, that's hot. Hot and ready, hot and delicious. Garlicky, savory, not overly so. Just right. You gotta remember you're balancing all that sweetness that comes from the tomatoes. So I think you're fine to put a lot of savory, a lot of tangy elements on top of a pizza. Just be careful putting outright salty elements on top of a pizza, be it cured meats, or if you actually just added salt. That would be crazy. Because I love pepperoni, but it can get out of hand with the salt. Naturally savory umami-y things like anchovies, Romano cheese, they have a different quality to them than just saltiness, so I think they're okay. Wow. This is exactly the comfort food I needed. Especially, I just signed the like pre-closing documents or something on my house saying, you know, here's all the money I'm gonna pay, I agree to everything, blah, blah, blah. And the tentative date on there for closing on a house is, 2 weeks away. Cool. Which blows my mind. And I'm extremely grateful, and I'm so lucky that I'm able to purchase a house with these insane, horrible interest rates right now and everything. Like, being in a position I can still make it work. So grateful. But it's still, you know, a huge life change and something to get used to. To find something affordable and balanced, like the lifestyle we wanted. We had to look all the way up in Albany, New York, about 2.5 hours from New York City by Amtrak, by train. And it seems like a nice enough town, been there a few times and stuff. It does have some walkability, which is nice, great bus system, but it's still going to be a huge adjustment from, you know, New York City with, 10 million people or something to basically a small town, even though it's the capital. The whole capital region, I think, has like 1 million people, but it's just so spread out. It's not the same. That's a big change, but I think it'll be a positive one in the end. Just that the financial savings, obviously. We'll get to own a car sometime in the next year, make that happen, and we'll be, not just relying on the train to go to hiking spots and vacations or the plane. We'll be able to do drive-away weekends, in different places in the Northeast, seeing more of New England, seeing more beautiful hiking, and still have access to the train to go down to New York City, hiking spots south of here, go over to Niagara Falls on the train, go to Canada on the train. Just great transportation locations, so I'm happy about that. but definitely a cultural difference. But I won't have to put up with this. I have a neighbor on the second floor here who fancies himself a DJ. He is not. I mean, he's a DJ in this style of a radio DJ. He just plays songs, and he'll set up his speakers out in the community garden and be like, hey, everybody, come down to my party. And then no one will come because he has weird taste in music. He plays a lot of gospel stuff mixed in randomly with like other R&B. Sometimes he'll just play like speeches of like Obama, or one time he was playing just Anthony Fauci speaking on top of other music in the background. Like, I think he thinks he's doing a public service, but it's really just annoying, especially when he just does it in his apartment randomly for 4 hours at a time, so loud that it comes into my apartment from the second floor. That is why I had to buy a home. So less noise. Videos will probably eventually be higher quality. We do have to completely renovate the kitchen. The previous owners just kind of destroyed it. I don't know what they were doing, but I can see the listing from a few years ago when they bought it and see it now and what has happened to it. And it's like, what did you do to this house? It was way prettier before. But, you know, they still are making like a $40,000 profit just because of inflation and crazy house costs right now. Just to gut and redo the kitchen, gut and redo the main bathroom because they tried to redo it themselves and they like didn't install any of the tile properly. Some of the tiles installed upside down. We can't really trust that it's like safe and waterproof based on that construction quality. And we really want to have, right now it's just like a tiled shower. We really want to have a tub as an option, both for us, for comfort's sake sometimes. And, you know, if you want to expand your family, tub is going to be very important. There's 2 huge water heaters that probably need to be replaced like right away. They still work, but one's like 15 or 20 years old and the other one's 30 years old. One is for heated floors and a tile sunroom area in the back, which is nice. And the other is for the house's hot water. I'm thinking I'm going to replace those with on-demand water heaters. It'll save space in the basement, which in the long run I think will be good for finishing the basement, which I want to do. And they're more economical in the long run, even though they cost more up front. There are some drainage issues. The backyard needs to be graded properly. Then landscaping needs to be done. The whole front porch needs to be rebuilt. Probably put a deck in the back. Finish the attic. There is a half bath that needs to be redone. And there's a 2-car garage that's separate from the house that has been left in a state of disrepair with the garage doors on it broken that needs to be dealt with somehow. Which I don't know if is trying to cheaply turn into a functioning garage or renovate it into a whole like outdoor party cooking structure, but that might be down the line because it would probably be very expensive. And it only has power running to it, not plumbing, so that could be an issue. But, you know, there's a lot of opportunity there. Even though it's all expensive, it's someplace we can make our paradise over time and be free from these annoyances of inconsiderate people blasting weird music for hours and hours and hours. This is what I have to do to talk myself like into it and feel good about it. Because giving up the city is hard, but we'll make it worth it. And wherever I am with my wife is my home. So that's all that really matters in the end anyway. I gotta show you guys this crust. Take a look at the nice spotting on the back there. So crispy, but it's crispy on the bottom, but there's still like fluff to it, you know? I love that kind of crust. I love a straight up cracker crust too. And look at me, I'm a cracker. But the little bit of chew with it adds a lot, I think. And a glass of water. Oof. I love water. Speaking of crackers, oh my God. So I was in line at Target the other day with my wife, and there's a woman and her 2 kids in line behind us. Kid is on like a FaceTime call with a billion other kids. And he's yelling about how he's gonna beat people up, how he's gonna beat someone up who has the same name as my wife. We're like, how everybody else is stupid, and saying like bro every other word, like brah, stupid brah, the stupid brah, and the N-word, of course. And the mom's just letting it happen. And then the mom starts yelling about the police better stop looking at her. She's like, oh, they done walked by twice already. And like, we're standing in line with, I don't know, 50 people or something for a self-checkout, you know, giant self-checkout area with, 20 different registers. And I look around. Weirdly, sometimes there are police on duty near the exits, just, getting paid to be security at the Target. But there don't seem to be any there right now. There's no loss prevention people around. No one's looking at this lady. The only reason anyone would be looking at her is because of her misbehaving child. And because now she's yelling about the police. But then she starts yelling about, oh, the crackers looking at her. And I have not turned around and looked at this woman. So, it's one less cracker. And then her son joins in and starts yelling something about some bald-headed cracker looking at them. And so I guess, I'm off the hook because I don't think that would be me. But now I'm looking around for this bald man. And I don't see a bald person anywhere. So this mom and her son were just like off their meds, crazy, delusional. She starts yelling about how she has a job so she can pay for all her Target stuff. They don't need to profile her. All the while, no one is bothering her. So weird. And annoying to hear everyone called the N-word or called a cracker. And it's like, you don't get to say cracker. I get to say cracker. But at least I wasn't the cracker they were mad at. Maybe they thought I was Greek or something. But those are the New York experiences, the random encounters with interesting people you have that bring joy and fun to the city. I will miss that, but calm will be very wonderful, and the calm of a blanket of financial security. One thing that will stop happening is that I keep seeing, people talk about like New York City and LA, like, oh, you see celebrities everywhere. Not true. But I do see, I see Casey Neistat like a couple times a month. And I've seen Nev from Catfish, the like host guy. He almost hit me with his bike in a crosswalk the other day. I think he lives just like a neighborhood over from me, so pretty close. But he was coming off the Williamsburg Bridge in Manhattan on like a e-bike, assisted pedal bike with the big knobbly tires. Then he was coming across the crosswalk as I was going onto the bridge to go home to Brooklyn from my exercise walk. But he was like crossing across the crosswalk, and I was like, wait, is that Nev coming at me? And I was like, oh, wait, he almost hit me. But in his defense, it's a very poorly defined area, intersection of like pedestrians and cars and bikes all trying to get on and off the bridge. So it's not super clear where he's supposed to go. And I see Casey Neistat on like his exercise runs too, in the morning sometimes. Sometimes he goes through Brooklyn Bridge Park. And I've seen him on a bike a couple times, just riding around, not filming anything. But after you see one of those guys who like films in public a lot, Neve or Casey, kind of like look around for a second, just make sure like, oh shit, I'm not on camera right now, right? I don't want either of them coming after me. I ain't getting sucked into an episode of Catfish. I wish I had a second pizza. I hope you guys are having a fun fall though. It's my favorite time of year to go hiking, be outside. I love in the Northeast all the color changes in the trees. This year I think I'll be moving, so I won't really have time to do too much of that, but next year will be really great because I'll be close to, just a few miles away from the Berkshires in Connecticut. Won't be far from New Hampshire and Vermont. I really want to go up and see the White Mountains and what's the name of Mount Washington. Ride the Cog Railway up to the top there. There's just like so much life I want to live now. I just need to get over this transition hump. And with my arm, I am 6 months from my original surgery where they put all my metal implants in. And the orthopedic surgeon said in my last visit, he said, okay, so 6 months out, if you want, you can contact me and we can talk about taking all this metal back out. So just wait and see how it feels. Because it's designed to be there permanently, you know. There's no real reason to take it out unless it's bothering you. And he said only like 20% of patients or something usually have them taken out. But I don't know, the way mine is positioned, it's right up against the skin and it gets like stuck to the inside of the skin, pulls around and hurts. I can't rest it properly on anything. Like I can't rest my arm further up than that because it'll hit the metal, which is screwed into the bone, and it like transfers pain all through my arm. And I know the joint itself may always hurt, but I think the metal being strapped to it is like adding to it right now. So I kind of want to get it taken out. It'll mean another while and, you know, a big arm wrap like I was before in a sling and all that. I'm not sure if I'll have to do therapy again. Probably not, because there'll be holes in the bone and I won't be able to be like weight bearing, but there won't be damage to the joint. There won't be damage or as much damage to the tendons and stuff. I'm sure they'll have to move some stuff to get everything out, but it'll be a much easier recovery. But I'm trying to figure out how to time that because I'm moving away from where the surgery needs to take place. But you don't have to be hospitalized after this usually, so hopefully, you know, when I get it, I'll be able to like come down in the morning on train, get surgery, maybe get a hotel for that night and go back the next morning or something. We'll see. I just feel guilty wasting the money. I mean, it's not wasting the money, it's for my joy of living, which really gets sucked away from you when you have like constant pain. But I try to stay positive. But spending all the extra money on top of the surgery for the transportation and the hotel, make sure I can do it, but then I feel guilty doing it. And then I feel guilty. I don't want to like incapacitate myself when I need to be painting and polishing floors and all that kind of stuff of moving into a new house. But I'll probably be even better at painting and stuff once this is completely pain-free, you know. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this pizza idea. I hope you enjoyed all my ranting and raving. I'm gonna go see if my wife wants these last couple pieces. I'll see you soon.